Hey y'all, so here's the post from a recent fitness influencer, and I want to make 2 points on this, but first, I want to make it abundantly clear that I want zero clout from something like this. I don't want any arguments. I want to simply educate, which is why I blocked out his name on the post. I'm not going to tag him in. I'm not going to do any of that stuff because this is purely educational in nature, okay? Now, the first thing here is I really dislike I'm anti-fear mongering, yet still fear mongering through my actions type vibe that a lot of people are giving off because they're trying to basically, I hate the word like virtue signaling or whatever, but I'm anti-fear mongering, but I'm still going to do these things that basically promote that type of thought process. And when it comes to fitness, I think it's so easy to try to do things like this to drive home a point. And I just think it's inappropriate because there's so many ways to apply so many concepts. And I know that's what gets views on social media, but it's moving things in a bad direction. Okay. So like if you say you're anti-fear mongering and like blacklisting things, don't do things in that would promote blacklisting and fear mongering, right? The second thing is on the actual tricep post itself. So if you notice, this post here is talking about basically the concept of aligning forces through the joint to prevent elbow pain and how that relates to exercise selection. And for the most part, I agree with a lot of things he says, not all, but you know, they're not wrong. And in this post, yes, like if you repeatedly load joints and overload them more than anything else, like lots of volume and load in somewhat of misaligned positions, it can contribute to pain. But in this case, I think he's reaching a little bit far and saying that there's only so many exercises you can do, and that if you don't have these like forces perfectly aligned here like he has in the picture, that your elbows are going to explode. And so my retort to that is like, if you can't do things outside of these natural joint alignments without your elbows or joints exploding, how effective is your training? And are you actually training the right way? Like, we need to be more robust and resilient humans. Like, in our daily actions, we do so many things that are misaligned, yet we're still intact. And I think our training needs to somewhat reflect that in some capacity. Now, if you're driving tons and tons of volume and tons of loading and everything, there are certain concepts we still want to try to apply, but you probably shouldn't be doing skull crushers with 225 pounds. And if you are, then yeah, maybe you're internally rotating at the shoulder, doing some other things that could contribute to pain. But to say like, just because some guy said it was wrong because he's seen people do it super wrong, like therefore it's wrong to do, it's not the right logical thought process in my opinion. And so then on this final slide here basically shows like the forces working through the elbow joint and all that. And I think something that's oftentimes lost in these types of posts is just the fact that things like form aren't taken into account. He notes it above that like, oh, it might, vary based on your body width and structure and all kinds of stuff like that, which is very true. But like, then you choose a picture where the guy's, in my opinion, executing it improperly or in a way that at least would contribute to more pain. And if he were to simply create more external rotation of that shoulder by getting his elbows in front of him and then externally rotating, he could lock himself into a better position with better alignment. And then that exercise becomes more effective. And also referring to easy bars with straight bars and then using one that's an easy bar is not going to transfer the same, or even with dumbbells and cables. Like, there's so many ways to do things, but to say skull crushes are bad, you shouldn't do them, and here's a picture of an alien going after a little kid, like, I just don't think that's appropriate, and I just think we can do a lot better as an industry. So my take on tricep training is there's a lot of ways to load a lot of things, and I think we need to have a variety of loading patterns and angles and everything else in order to create more robustness in our movement patterns so we do not just break down when exposed to them. And if you are, you got to fix that.